Hey, welcome to the Mind Hacking Happiness Podcast, where we're presenting day 34 of the Mind Hacking Happiness 45-Day Mind Mastery 101. And it's usually $1,000, but today it's free. And you can get indefinite access if you go to mindhackinghappiness.com, sign up for the course there. Even when we put a price tag on it in the future, you will still get access at $0 to do that. While you're there, stop by the forums and say XYZ sent me, or share this with your friends and get them to say your name here sent me, and both of you. The person saying I was sent and the person who sent them is going to get entered into the $100 free gift card drawing at the end of this free presentation. Hope things are well for you. Here's day 34. Hey, welcome to day 34 of the Mind Mastery 101 from Mind Hacking Happiness. Hey, have you guys tried this stuff yet? BAI? I know a lot of you probably have. I discovered it just recently, and it is friggin' awesome. So today's installment of the 101 comes from this awesome coconut water, which is infused with coconut on this one, but I also have others that are infused with lime, raspberry, and pineapple. They're not a sponsor of Mind Hacking Happiness. I just like this stuff. And also brought to you by a stiff cup of Earl Grey tea. A slow start today. Okay, so let's get into today's lesson, which is review your sadness day. Now, we don't have to be sad to review our sadnesses, because if you remember, what we're doing here is just kind of going through our self map and anticipating the potential sadnesses that can arise because of the stuff that we have on our self map, including all the associations of the things that we have on our self map, right? And if you remember how sadness works, sadness arises when the mind perceives a loss of self. So any one of the things on your self item, including any one of the associations that you have that it's connected with one of those self items, like my son, well, his association is his grades or his behavior in school or his attitude at home, you know, things like that, all get attached to that thing on my self map called my son. And so all the things that are associated with him become attachments that I can then become disappointed. You know, I wouldn't get super sad about something that happened regarding my son's associations, right? It would be a low-level sadness, typically, but it could be a disappointment about a grade, or a disappointment about an attitude, or a disappointment about something that he did or said, or, you know, that type of thing. Well, if I anticipate those things by reviewing them in advance, by saying, okay, so I know I have an attachment to my son, and I know these are the things associated with my son. If I can anticipate that emotional reaction, when that thing occurs, boom, I can set it immediately aside and understand it immediately, and the limbic system gets downregulated immediately because the prefrontal cortex is already saying, yep, already been there, done that. You knew this was coming, so let's not have that sidetrack us and put us off kilter today, or have us deal with something for the next, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is, before I can then be proactive and pro-social with my son and, work through whatever it is that I might be disappointed about or have issue with, right? So that gets us to a much more efficient way of living, a much more conscious way of living. And so that's what we're doing when we're reviewing our sadnesses. I think I might have to sneeze. Excuse me if I do. Okay, so again, it's time to reflect on your sadness, and you go through your self map and you say, okay, so these are all the things associated with myself, and these are all the things that have been associated with the things that are associated with self. And these are the things that I can then, if they take a hit, they take a devaluation, if they take a loss of some sort on my perception side of the equation of emotion, if a perception comes in and says one of these things is taking a loss or taking a hit or taking a devaluation, that's going to bring up some level of sadness, right? So that's what we're talking about. And so today is the day to go through your self map and identify the potential things that could arise that might want to ruin your day, but which in the future won't be able to because you've already anticipated them. And what we're doing here from a scientific perspective even is creating an expectation that we may experience some kind of disappointment about something in the future, which then changes the whole EP side of the equation of emotion, if you think about it, because then we're adjusting our expectation. So when we expect to be disappointed about something, potentially, I mean, we don't wish for it, we don't plan for it, we don't hope for it, but when we know it's a possibility, we're adjusting our expectation that it's a possibility. And so then when the perception comes in, well, that's a balanced equation of emotion, a little miniature. I mean, there'll still be the disappointment, of course, but then there's a little bit of a positive bump associated with that little, minute equation of emotion that you've now created that wouldn't have been there before because you didn't have the EP adjustment. Well, now you have the EP adjustment. Now there's a new equation of emotion potential. The perception comes in that, the disappointment comes. Well, now that little thing's balanced. There'll still be the disappointment, right? You'll still experience the small sadness associated with whatever it is that came in, but you'll have a new level up here with a different equation of emotion that'll balance out and then bring this one up just a little bit. Say, yeah, that's disappointing, but I knew I was going to be disappointed about this potentially sometime, and there it is, so let's just deal with it and get on, right? So that's what we're talking about in being able to master your mind, is being able to take control of those small moments that could ruin your day, but no longer do. So your homework, review your self-map in relation to your potential sadnesses at the varying levels of severity, okay? And we will talk one more time about sadness tomorrow, about how to reduce it en masse, I believe, is the schedule. But other than that, have a great day. Talk to you soon.